Story of My Life, Chapter 14. From the middle of June to July, we kept writing our final year papers, and true to her words, Mr. Carson wasn't taking it easy on us. She was making a double check so no one would cheat, even though there were capable teachers to do that. The whole school was in a low key till we were done with our exams. I couldn't be happier when I finally got to finish my exams that we used 3 good weeks to finish. Toyin, Victoria, and Bisola were already done with their papers, while I was in the exam hall racking my brain to some really hard questions. When I was finally done, I made my way to the class from the school hall that Mrs. Carson had insisted with, even though she knew the whole students weren't happy about it. And to round it all up, she separated us and mixed us with other students who weren't writing the same papers as mine or any other person. The proprietress was mean, so mean. How was it? Vicky asked me when she saw me enter the class. Smiling weakly, I nodded my head and sat down next to Bisala. Don't worry, your result will come out fine, okay? Vicky assured me, and I nodded again. She was hanging out with us more, and we even had slept over 4 times just for her. We had one at Toyn's, two at Bisola's, and one at Vicky's. It was what making us get to know more about each other the more. Vicky didn't know much about us in spite of things we told her, but we pretty much knew her. She was an amazing friend and a good companion to me whenever Toyin and Bisola were off to their scorpion group. I was attached to her like I was to be my bestie, so that made her my bestie too. We were close buddies. Speak up, Bisola slightly elbowed me. Or did those pairs you had drain all your energy or brain? Obviously, I responded and put my head on the desk. It drained my energy to speak. Idiotic human being, Toyin mumbled, referring to me. But I only ignored her. I wasn't in the mood to exchange insults with her. Out of nowhere, we hear the sound of a slap. Demilola had just slapped Grace, who didn't wait any moment to slap Demilola back. How dare you? Grace screamed, looking furious. Demilola grabbed Grace's hair and started pulling it forcefully. And how dare you underestimate me and accuse me of sneaking in a book into the exam hall? Because I don't trust you. All you do is to party around, Grace said and managed to spat at the Miller's face. What's wrong with those two again? And I never asked you to. Demilola retorted and flung her hand across Grace's face. You can't just underestimate people just because you're the class representative, Demi said and wiped the saliva away from her face. Man, those two, Vicky said. Teenagers and their dramas, I thought. I couldn't even wait to leave this school. I had a nap. While at home, the rain was falling, around past 10, and my adopted father hadn't shown up. We were all to see the Raj on TV, so it could keep us awake so we could know when he woke and be back from whenever he went to. I saw my sister yawning as she tried to keep her eyes awake. She had agreed to wait too. 1 hour later, Mr. Johnson still hadn't shown up and started to wonder what must have happened. Truthfully, I was scared for him, and I knew that would be contrary to what he would have felt, for I wasn't home by this time. Nevertheless, I still cared a bit for him. I mean, he was the one who showed me the fatherly affection father has towards kids. I shook my head off as I recalled the good side of him that I knew before. There was Bagan. He was abusive now and mean. The banging of the door made Bayo awake that someone was around as we quickly looked at each other better. I looked at the wall clock and it was 1:30 a.m. on dot. Basal had finally slept on the couch and my mom on my shoulder. She had mentioned something about having a stressful day in school. Being a teacher wasn't that easy. Bayo stood up and went to get the door. "Hi, Dad," he said before he was pushed away forcefully. "What's wrong?" I was seriously afraid of what just happened to Bayo. I quickly tapped Mom and whispered Mr. Johnson was home. Mom woke up instantly and we both gazed at my adopted father. He was drunk and smelling cigarettes. But that wasn't all that I perceived. I saw smelled trouble, quarrel, violence, fight. Staggering his way to Bayo, he pointed at Bayo. I, I, I said, we should talk about this, Lolian. But you kicked me out. Why? Bayo only gawked at him, unsure of what response to give him. You broke my heart. You kicked me out. The hostess tried to help you pay the rent. Mr. Joseph cried out and slapped Bayo. Bayo explained, surprised at Dad's reaction, slowly stepped back. My mother hastily went to Bayo and pulled him back behind her. A mother would always be a mother. Mr. Johnson was drunk, mad at Lovelyn, and mistook Bayo for her. And if Bayo was Lovelyn, that was how he would have hit her. It was already in him, beating women up. Who are you? Your legal wife? Ola, you should be ashamed of yourself. You aren't being responsible at all. You just mistook your son for a concubine. When did you become like this? Squinting his eyes, he moved unsteadily and said, I don't know you. Now move away from my wife. My mom closed her eyes, her face upward, and she sighed. This was too much for her. Mr. Johnson was mentally disturbed, and the liquor he took was making him rue what he had been doing for Loveline. Paying his rent? Her rent? When last did he do that? I wish Aunt Sarah was here to witness this and disappear. Bio, go and sleep, but take your sister to bed first. Bio nodded and obeyed. Come back here, Loveline, Mr. Johnson said, making a move towards Bio. Mom stopped him just in time, placing her hand on his chest. Don't you go near him, near my son tonight. He isn't your concubine. Let's have a peace in this house, for heaven's sake, Mom said, emphasizing her last sentence. Let me see my Lovelyn. Mr. Johnson yielded and punched my mom in the face. The shock on her face told me she didn't see it coming. Oh my God, she gasped and glared fiercely at Mr. Johnson, then gave him a slap that made me widen my eye unbelievable at her. Mom? I called her attention. My mom had never raised her hand to hit my adopted father for all I knew, but she just did. She wasn't backing down. I was scared. I couldn't feel my breathing. So, could I have thought Mom would do that? That was unusual of her. Was it Gideon? No, it couldn't be. They just met a few months ago and she had explained she never told Gideon anything concerning the problem in the house. Listen, good. Johnson, Allah, if you hit me again, I will take it easy with you. You hit me once, I will give you back 10 times. Don't try me. You can turn me into a punching bag where you can let out your frustration, Mom said, poking his chest. You? Mr. Johnson was saying, his hand in the air, ready to punch Mom again, but before he could do that, he puked so hard that he passed out near to his vomit. I swallowed down my lumps. I ran to Mom and hugged her. It's okay, Mom. You're very strong. I patted her. I knew the instant she started crying and couldn't help but cry too. My throat was knotted with emotions. Mr. Johnson was drunk, Mom unhappy, and it was getting worse. Minutes later, I took Mom to bed and went to check on Bayo. I peeped into the dark room and switched the lights on. My brother was curled up in the bed. Hey, I said I was walked to his bed. He was crying. Stop crying, Bayo. He mistook me for whatever her name is. He doesn't recognize me, his son. Has he forgotten every one of the memories we shared, just like that? I exhaled and lay on his comfy bed. He's just having a hard time. Don't make excuse for him. I'm not dumb. Yeah, right, you aren't. I confirm and you yawn. I just want you to know we'll be fine. Every one of us, everything will be better, like you always believe. I don't even know what to believe. I miss him, I miss us all. But I cried, and I wiped his tears away. Me too, I miss him. I barely admitted and drifted off to sleep in my comfy bed.